Inferiority, a universal human psychological state of incompleteness, smallness, weakness, or inadequacy. I'm not good enough. Will I ever be that great? Will I ever be better than her? I don't look as beautiful as her. Most of us would agree on having this inner talk time and again. Subsiding these voices of not being enough is a constant battle. Like everyone, we also struggle and the constant battle is on, but we always try to put our best foot forward.
From our own experiences, we have understood that this is a complex problem which arises due to the interaction of multiple factors. Overcoming inferiority complex cannot be a unidimensional approach. One needs to consider and work on all these multiple factors, maybe one at a time or simultaneously. So let's talk about this multidimensional approach which helps us and can be a good weapon for you in your battle towards overcoming the inferiority complex. Now on to the video.
Welcome to New School of Growth. My name is Shivam Jha.
And I am Devang. To overcome feelings of inferiority, we need to first understand what it is and why we feel inferior in the first place.
और जब हम इस वीडियो में आगे कॉजेस की बात करेंगे तो आपके बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए हम कॉजेस के साथ साथ उनके रिस्पेक्टिव सॉल्यूशंस को भी डिस्कस करेंगे। बिफोर वी गेट एनी फर्दर, हम आपको ये बता दें कि हम आपसे वही सारी चीजें शेयर कर रहे हैं जो हमारे लिए काम करती हैं। ये हो सकता है आपके लिए भी काम करे। इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स कभी-कभी एक सीवियर इशू भी हो सकता है।
And if you are someone who is really struggling with inferiority complex, then do seek professional help.
The term inferiority complex was coined in 1920s by French psychologist Alfred Adler, and it can be defined as an intense personal feeling of inadequacy resulting in the belief that one is some way deficient or inferior to others. इसका मतलब ये है कि inferiority complex से जब कोई struggle करता है तो उसे एक belief रहता है कि वो दूसरों से कम है और हमेशा खुद को दूसरों से कमजोर या दूसरों को खुद से better समझता है।
आजकल हर कोई सोशल मीडिया यूज कर रहा है और अक्सर जब हम फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम को स्क्रॉल करते हैं देन वी इनकाउंटर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल शोइंग देयर बेस्ट सेल्व्स और हम उनकी सबसे अच्छी गाड़ियां, उनके पैसे, उनकी फिजिक और हर वो अच्छी चीजें जो वो दुनिया को दिखाना चाहते हैं उसे देखकर हम इंफीरियर फील करते हैं। But we forget the fact that those things are just a tiny part of their respective lives and not the true representation of their reality. हम दूसरों के लाइफ के 10% अच्छी चीजों को अपने लाइफ के 90% ऐसी चीजों से कंपेयर करते हैं जहां पर हम स्ट्रगल कर रहे हो।
And due to this comparison and negativity bias, we often go blind towards our own wins and achievements. All we notice is our losses and failures. And this fault in our thinking is often referred to as wind blindness. और ये एक काफी बड़ा reason था for us feeling inferior. As the saying goes, we become what we believe. So if we keep on believing that we are a loser and हमेशा खुद को अपने नजरों में नीचा दिखाते रहेंगे and अपनी छोटी छोटी जीतों को हम recognize ना करें and we never celebrate any of those wins, then no one can help us. We would keep on deteriorating to the point of no return. And honestly, this is what we had been doing for a very long period of time.
So what can be a solution for this? How can we pick ourselves up and use these things as motivation? The answer is simple yet complex. Self-awareness. To put simply, self-awareness is the knowledge about our own selves, knowing our strengths, weaknesses, what is true and what's not. Self-awareness is all about seeing the things as they are. It is the ability to watch the iron behind the shiny layer of gold.
जब भी हम किसी की अच्छी चीजों या अचीवमेंट्स को देखते हैं तो हम ये भूल जाते हैं that people really struggle and work hard for what they have और अपने current state को उनकी current state से compare करके inferior feel करते हैं. Like John Acuff said, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Or a modification of that could be your middle to someone else's end.
Self-awareness is about seeing the reality at that point of time and considering the journey behind others' achievement and use it as a motivation. और हमें ये सोचने के बजाय कि हम दूसरों से कितने पीछे हैं, हमें ये सोचना चाहिए कि उन्होंने उस चीज के लिए मेहनत की है और अगर हम भी करें उसे अचीव किया जा सकता है।
क्योंकि आजकल हर कोई अपने अचीवमेंट को शेयर कर रहा है, ना कि अपने स्ट्रगल्स को, और किसी के अचीवमेंट को अपने स्ट्रगल से कंपेयर करना doesn't make any sense.
Do hit that like button if you agree with us. Now, let's look at the different dimension of comparison to our own ideal selves, or as we like to call better future selves. हमने अपने एक्सपीरियंस में ये देखा है कि जब हमारे आइडियल सेल्व्स which we want to become और हमारे रियल सेल्व्स which we currently are, इन दोनों के बीच में जब गैप काफी ज्यादा हो जाता है, then it can also become a potential cause for negative comparison, which can make us feel inferior in our present moment. This idea was also popularized by a famous humanistic psychologist, Carl Rogers.
I remember that a couple of years ago, comparing to others and a high standard future self had affected me in negative ways. उस समय मैं म्यूजिक को लेके काफी पैशनेट था and I wanted to pursue music as my career. मेरे skills काफी अच्छे थे. I was decent at playing guitar and at songwriting. And because of this, what I wanted to be, इसके standards काफी high थे. If you talk about these great personalities or artists or musicians, जहाँ पे इन्हें और इनकी जर्नी को देख के मुझे इंस्पायर्ड होना चाहिए था और मोटिवेटेड फील करना चाहिए था. Slowly, steadily, because of negative comparison, I started getting depressed. मुझे अपने स्किल्स पे से विश्वास उठने लगा and I started losing that faith in my dreams. And ये negative comparison की intensity इतनी ज़्यादा हो गई थी कि eventually I left music. काफी महीनों तक I didn't even touch my guitar. And today, sadly, I don't even have that passion for music. So you see what negative comparison and inferiority can do to us.
It is extremely hard to avoid comparison, क्योंकि जब ग्रोथ की बात होती है तो किसी एक बेंचमार्क या रेफरेंस पॉइंट से कंपैरिजन होती ही है, so that we can find the gap and work towards it.
So what's the solution to this? First and foremost, we need to differentiate between what's evaluation and what is judgment. Evaluation is an objective analysis of anything. जब हम किसी भी चीज को evaluate करते हैं, we observe and analyze on the basis of facts. But when we judge, इस analysis के साथ-साथ there are emotions and there is identity.
For instance, I have failed this exam because I needed more revision and practice is an evaluation. But I have failed this exam and hence I'm a failure and a loser is a judgment.
Most of the times we used to judge instead of evaluating. And इस judgment का conclusion हमारे केस में most of the times negative ही होता था, and because of this we ended up criticizing our own identities, and that's why we were experiencing these negative feelings of not being good enough.
So learning to avoid this judgment and learning to evaluate is necessary to come out from this vicious cycle of negative comparison.
Another beautiful way that helps us to overcome our inferiority complex is skill building.
Feeling of inferiority often arises out of lack of results and out of poor performance as compared to peers. लेकिन इस फीलिंग से अपसेट होने के बजाय अगर हम अपना फोकस स्किल बिल्डिंग पे करें and we aim to develop our skill and upgrade to better version, तो ना केवल हम अपने inferiority complex को कम कर पाएंगे, but this would also increase our competence and this competence would ultimately increase our confidence. This is a very famous concept given by Brendan Burchard called as competence confidence loop. अगर आप किसी behavior related चीजों के कारण inferior feel कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि not being very good at public speaking or communication skills, then building skill in these areas can bring some profound changes in your competence and confidence level, and this would slowly reduce your feeling of being inferior.
And lastly, remember this one thing. Fundamentally, we are all equivalent. Regardless of our strengths, weaknesses, perfections or imperfections, achievements or losses, at the very core, we are all human beings. But paradoxically, each one of us is unique. You are unique. Like Richard Bartlett in his book Matrix Energetics puts it, you're more than your thoughts, your body or your feelings. You are a swirling vortex of limitless potential who is here to shake things up and create something new that the universe has never seen. So remember, there's only one you, so be yourself and work towards your better self.
If you have found value out of this video, then do hit that subscribe button. Also, अगर आप किसी को जानते हैं जो inferiority complex से struggle कर रहा है, तो ये वीडियो उनके साथ जरूर शेयर करें.
Because your simple act of sharing this video can help them in remarkable ways. Thank you so much for watching. Keep growing. Cheers.